States of a test case. State created. This is the very first edition of test case. Example created. Date name 11/7/2004. O. Ferguson. State modified. Modifications are usually triggered by a change in the tested functionality, so we need to modify a test case to reflect those changes by an intention to improve a test case, for example, to make the test case more maintainable. Example, modified. Date name 02/03/2005. I. Newsom. State retired. The test case becomes obsolete if the functionality tested by it doesn't exist anymore. For example, if we stop accepting MasterCard, the test case CCPG0002 is not needed anymore. In other cases, when that test case doesn't make sense, for example, when a test case is a duplicate, we should never delete a retired test case because there can be an error in judgment and a retired test case can turn out to be valid. A retired test case can be of use in the future. By the way, test case management systems store not only test cases, but also test case revision history and test case execution history. The importance of creativity. All that we've talked about so far can be used in suggested form, but we want you to grasp the main thing. Testing is a creative process and thus assumes a search for excellence. So, you have to search until you find what's best for your concrete company and concrete situation. Let's illustrate the creative approach by rewriting our credit card test cases. Please open File, Test Suite Example 4. 3 factors that affect test cases. Each software company is different, so you can get very creative in making your test cases as effective as possible wherever you work. Let's look at 3 important factors that can affect both the formal and actual sides of your test cases. 1. Importance of the project. 2. Complexity of the project. 3. Stage of the project. 1. Importance of the project. Let's look at 2 hypothetical bugs. Please note that these bugs never occurred in reality. We made them up for the sake of illustration. YouTube bug. 10% of the ending of the video clip is missing after an MP4 file upload. PayPal bug. 10% of an amount is missing after a PayPal to bank transfer. We bet most of us would be somewhat annoyed in the first case and really pissed off in the second case. Here is another perspective. Can users sue YouTube for a faulty upload causing a loss in playback time? Probably not. Can users sue PayPal for a faulty transfer causing a loss in money? Definitely yes. So, while YouTube is an amazing project, it deals with entertainment, and if it doesn't function, it's upsetting, but you're just a click away from other similar websites. It's totally different for PayPal, where people's finances are involved. If money is lost, a transfer is delayed, or an account is blocked, it can have really negative consequences for both the user and the company. 2. Complexity of the project. Some projects are simple, for example, our training software, ShareLane, and some projects are complex like PayPal. Complexity is rooted in the technologies used, the number of lines of code, integration with vendors, etc. As a rule, projects of high importance are highly complex. 3. Stage of the project. A project can be at an early stage when only a general idea and a simple prototype exist, or at its maturity when hundreds of people are employed and millions of users enjoy the product. A product in its early stage usually has low importance and low complexity. Depending on these 3 factors, we develop our testing strategies, and these will also include the standards and requirements for the formal side of test cases. We have already learned several good approaches to test case generation and management, but in many startups, the above 3 factors will simplify test case-related activities. As a rule, during the first months of a startup's existence, that's when importance and complexity are low. It's totally okay to have all or the majority of test cases in form of checklists. Checklists. Checklists are simple test cases that assume that the test case executor knows the application well or can figure out how the application should work and or look. As a rule, advanced verifications like DB queries are not included in checklists. Open File Checklist Example to see an example. Each line of a checklist is a test case that has only one expected result. We execute a checklist line by line and record our findings this way. Put a check mark if test case passed. Put a bug number if test case failed. Put a note if the execution is blocked. For projects of low importance, it's okay to use checklists even after several years of existence. For projects of high importance, highly formalized test cases are a must. Lecture recap. 1. Just like humans, test cases have the following states: created, modified, and retired. Unlike humans, test cases don't die. We want to keep them around for a number of reasons, so if a certain test case is no longer applicable, we don't delete it, but retire, hence we'll always have access to it. 2. Be creative and remember that the importance of the project, complexity of the project, stage of the project affect formal and actual side of test cases. 3. A checklist is an effective tool in case of low-priority projects or where complex steps or verifications are not needed. 4. In this unit, we've covered only the formal side of test cases. It's important to understand that the gist of a test case's existence is to help us find bug or bugs. Bug finding techniques will be explained in greater detail later on.